Before we start, a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. Only 4% of my channel is subscribed. When it reaches 1,000 subscribers, I will release a special video.
Captain Ethan Blackwood stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the view screen that displayed the mesmerizing vista. His hands, calloused from years of service, rested on the control panel, fingers lightly tracing the contours of the ship's navigation system. Ethan was a man of contrasts. His rugged exterior, marked by the lines of countless battles, belied a mind as sharp and quick as any blade. His dark eyes, often shadowed with unspoken thoughts, now reflected the endless possibilities that lay before them. The bridge of the Voyager was a hive of activity, every crew member absorbed in their tasks. Holographic displays flickered with data, and the soft, rhythmic beeps of the ship's systems created a symphony of efficiency. Ethan's first officer, Commander Lyra Valen, approached with a stack of reports. Her presence was a comforting, constant, steady, reliable, and fiercely competent. "Captain, the diagnostics on the new quantum drives are complete. We're operating at peak efficiency," Lyra reported, her tone professional yet warm. Ethan nodded, his gaze never leaving the view screen. "Good. We'll need every bit of that efficiency out here. How's the crew holding up?" "Morale is high. We've been out here for weeks, but they're excited about the upcoming survey of the Zephyr sector," Lyra replied, a hint of a smile touching her lips. Ethan finally turned to look at her, his expression softening. "Good to hear. We've got a capable team, and we're going to need that enthusiasm." As Lyra returned to her station, Ethan allowed himself a rare moment of introspection. The Voyager was more than just a ship. It was a sanctuary, a beacon of hope and adventure in the boundless frontier. Each member of the crew had their own story, their own reason for being out here, but they all shared a common goal: exploration, discovery, and the unyielding pursuit of knowledge. The gentle hum of the ship's engines was a comforting background noise, a constant reminder of the technology that sustained them. The Voyager was equipped with the latest advancements: quantum drives that could bend the fabric of space, shielding systems capable of withstanding the harshest cosmic storms, and an arsenal of defensive weaponry for when diplomacy failed. Yet, despite the cold, mechanical nature of their surroundings, there was a warmth that permeated the ship, a sense of camaraderie that turned the sterile metal corridors into a home. Ethan's thoughts were interrupted by a sudden, sharp tone from the communications console. Ensign Marcus, a young officer with a quick mind and an even quicker wit, turned in his seat to address the captain. "Captain, we're receiving a distress signal. It's faint, but it's definitely there," Marcus reported, his fingers flying over the controls to enhance the signal. Ethan's demeanor shifted instantly, his focus sharpening like a laser. "Put it on the main screen." The view screen flickered, displaying a garbled message. Static crackled through the bridge speakers, but amidst the noise, a voice could be heard, desperate, pleading. "This is Outpost Theta-9 ... under attack ... need assistance ... coordinates attached ... please hurry." The message cut off abruptly, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. Ethan's mind raced, assessing the situation. Outpost Theta-9 was in the Zephyr sector, a region known for its beautiful but treacherous terrain. It was supposed to be uninhabited, save for the occasional survey team. Commander Valen set a course for those coordinates. "Maximum speed," Ethan ordered, his voice steady but urgent. Lyra's fingers danced over the navigation console. "Course set, Captain. Engaging quantum drives now." The Voyager lurched forward, the stars outside stretching into elongated streaks of light as the ship accelerated to faster than light speeds. The crew moved with practiced precision, preparing for whatever awaited them at the distress signal source. Ethan's thoughts turned to the potential danger. The galaxy was full of unknowns, and while they were equipped to handle most threats, there was always an element of unpredictability. But that was part of the allure, the thrill of the unknown. the challenge of the unexpected. As the Voyager hurtled through space, Ethan allowed himself a moment to reflect on his own journey. He had risen through the ranks, facing countless trials and tribulations. His command of the Voyager was not just a position of authority, but a testament to his resilience and determination. He was a leader, a protector, and now, potentially, a rescuer. The ship's hum deepened as they approached their destination. The crew, sensing the gravity of the situation, worked in synchronized silence. The bridge was a study in contrasts, the sterile, high-tech environment buzzing with the quiet hum of engines, against the backdrop of the crew's warm, emotional interactions. "Captain, we're approaching the coordinates," Lyra announced, breaking the silence. "Bring us out of quantum speed." "Let's see what we're dealing with," Ethan commanded. The stars outside the view screen slowed to their normal, twinkling selves as the Voyager exited faster than light travel. Ahead, the desolate silhouette of Outpost Theta 9 came into view, a small structure dwarfed by the vastness of space. "Scanners are picking up multiple heat signatures," Marcus reported. "It looks like the outpost is under siege." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Prepare a landing party. I'm going down there. Lyra, you have the bridge." As Ethan headed toward the shuttle bay, his mind was already strategizing. They didn't know what they would find down there, but one thing was certain: he and his crew would face it together. The cold, mechanical shell of the Voyager was, at its heart, a vessel of humanity, courage, and hope. And as long as he was its captain, Ethan Blackwood would ensure that light never dimmed. The shuttle doors hissed open, revealing the desolate landscape of Zephyria. Ethan stepped out, the weight of command heavy on his shoulders, but his resolve unshakable. The adventure was just beginning, and whatever lay ahead, they would meet it head-on. Chapter 2. Planet Zephyria. "Prepare for descent," Ethan commanded, his voice calm but authoritative. The crew, seasoned and efficient, moved with practiced precision. The hum of the quantum engines shifted pitch as the ship altered course, descending towards the unknown world. As the Voyager breached Zephiria's atmosphere, the view from the bridge transformed. Lush, otherworldly jungles sprawled below, with trees that seemed to pulse with an inner light. Rivers of liquid silver snaked through the landscape, reflecting the ethereal glow of the flora. The planet was a vibrant tapestry of colors and textures, a stark contrast to the cold, mechanical confines of the spaceship. Ethan couldn't help but feel a mix of awe and foreboding. The beauty of Zephyria was undeniable, but so was its mystery. "Sensors online," he ordered. "I want a full scan of the area." The display flickered as data poured in. The readings were unlike anything they had encountered before. Exotic energy signatures pulsed beneath the surface, and the atmosphere carried traces of unknown elements. But amidst the alien splendor, the distress signal's coordinates stood out like a beacon. "Ethan, the signal's coming from that outpost ahead," said Lieutenant Zara, pointing to a structure partially obscured by the dense foliage. It was a small, fortified installation, clearly designed for survival in this harsh environment. "Take us down," Ethan replied, his gaze narrowing. "And be ready for anything." The Voyager landed with a soft thud, its landing gear sinking slightly into the spongy ground. Ethan and his team, clad in protective suits, descended the ramp. The air outside was thick and humid, filled with the scent of alien vegetation and the distant hum of unseen creatures. "Stay alert," Ethan cautioned, his hand resting on the hilt of his energy blade. "We don't know what's out here." They advanced cautiously, their path illuminated by the soft glow of the bioluminescent plants. The outpost loomed ahead, silent and foreboding. Its walls were marked by scorch marks and signs of a struggle, but there was no immediate indication of who or what had caused them. "Ethan," over here, called Doctor. Mara, the ship's xenobiologist. She was crouched near the entrance, examining the ground. "These tracks. They're fresh, Someone's been here recently. Ethan nodded, his senses on high alert. Let's move in. Stay close and keep your eyes open. The interior of the outpost was a stark contrast to the vibrant jungle outside. It was dimly lit, with flickering lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air was thick with a musty, metallic scent, and the silence was almost oppressive. As they moved deeper into the structure, they found signs of recent habitation: makeshift beds, ration packs, and scattered equipment. But what caught Ethan's attention was the central chamber. There, in the dim light, stood a figure. She was tall and slender, with skin the color of moonlight and eyes that glowed with an inner luminescence. Her features were delicate but strong, with slightly pointed ears and a cascade of silvery hair. She wore a form-fitting suit that seemed to blend seamlessly with her surroundings, and her posture was one of wary defiance. "Identify yourself," Ethan said, his voice firm but gentle. "We're here to help." The woman hesitated, her eyes flickering with uncertainty. But then, as if sensing Ethan's sincerity, she stepped forward. "My name is Alara," she said, her voice melodic yet tinged with exhaustion. I didn't think anyone would come." Ethan felt a surge of relief. "We received your distress signal. What happened here?" Alara glanced around, her expression a mix of fear and resolve. "We were attacked. My people. They scattered. I've been alone here, trying to survive." Attacked by who? Ethan pressed, his mind racing with possibilities. "Pirates," Alara replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "The Stellar Scourge." Ethan's heart sank. The Scourge were notorious for their ruthlessness. "You're safe now," he assured her. "We'll get you out of here." As they prepared to leave, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much larger ordeal. The Voyager had found Alara, but in doing so, they had also drawn the attention of a formidable enemy. The stakes were higher than ever, and the journey ahead promised to test their limits in ways they had never imagined. With Alara in tow, they returned to the Voyager. The ship lifted off, leaving the enigmatic beauty of Zephyria behind. As they ascended into the starry expanse, Ethan glanced at Alara, a silent promise forming in his mind. He would protect her, no matter the cost. And together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead in the boundless frontier of space. Chapter 3. Ambush. "Captain, we're ready for departure," Lieutenant Mara announced, her fingers dancing over the console, initiating the liftoff sequence. Ethan nodded, turning his gaze to Alara. She stood by the observation window, her ice-blue skin casting an otherworldly glow in the dim light. Her eyes, deep pools of cerulean, reflected a mixture of relief and apprehension. "Secure her in the medbay," Ethan ordered, his voice firm yet gentle. "We'll debrief her once we're safely aboard." As the Voyager ascended, breaking free from Zephyria's gravitational pull, Ethan allowed himself a moment of hope. They had rescued Alara. Now they just needed to get back to safer space. His optimism was short-lived. "Captain, multiple contacts on the radar," Ensign Rook shouted, his voice tinged with alarm. "They're..." Ethan's heart sank. "Red alert. All hands to battle stations." The ship's corridors echoed with the urgent clamor of crew members rushing to their posts. The hum of the engines grew louder, vibrating through the decks as the ship powered up its defenses. The cold, sterile environment of the Voyager buzzed with a new energy, a collective resolve to face the impending threat. The main view screen flared to life, displaying a menacing fleet of ships bearing down on them. The Stellar Scourge. Their vessels were a grotesque amalgamation of stolen technology and brute force, each one bristling with weaponry. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers? Tactical. I want targeting solutions on those ships now." The bridge was a flurry of activity, the crew's movements precise and practiced. Lieutenant Mara's voice cut through the chaos, relaying commands and coordinating the ship's systems. Ethan's mind raced, assessing the situation, formulating a plan. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they had faced worse odds before. "Engage the cloaking shield," he ordered. The Voyager shimmered, bending light around it as it vanished from view. For a heartbeat, silence reigned. Then the Scourge ships opened fire, their blasts cutting through the void where the Voyager had been moments before. "Evasive pattern Delta," Ethan commanded. "Return fire at will." The Voyager sprang into action, weaving through the barrage of enemy fire with serpentine grace. Plasma bolts erupted from its turrets, striking the nearest Scourge ship and sending it spinning into oblivion. The bridge shook with each hit, the hum of the engines a constant reminder of their fragility. Ethan's eyes flicked to the damage report. Hull breaches, compromised shields, injuries. Each detail etched a deeper furrow into his brow. "Damage control teams, seal those breaches. Medical, stand by for casualties." Amidst the chaos, Alara's presence was a beacon of calm. She stood beside him, her eyes locked on the viewscreen. "Captain, I know these ships. Their shields are weak at the aft. If you can outmaneuver them, you might be able to." Her voice was drowned out by a direct hit that rocked the bridge, sending consoles sparking and crew members staggering. "Damn it," Ethan growled, clutching the rail for support. "Helm, bring us about. Target their aft." The Voyager pivoted, engines flaring as it surged towards the weakest point of the enemy formation. The maneuver was risky, threading the needle between incoming fire and the debris of their previous skirmish, but Ethan's determination was unwavering. "Fire!" he roared. The ship's cannons unleashed a volley of plasma, piercing through the enemy's shields and tearing into their hulls. Explosions blossomed in the void, brilliant flowers of destruction against the darkness of space. The Scourge ships reeled, their formation breaking apart in disarray. Ethan allowed himself a grim smile. "Good work, everyone. Keep up the pressure." But the battle was far from over. Another wave of Scourge ships emerged from hyperspace, their silhouettes ominous against the starlit backdrop. Ethan's heart pounded. They couldn't withstand another assault like this. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," Lieutenant Mara reported. "It's from the lead Scourge ship." Ethan's eyes narrowed. On screen, the view screen flickered, revealing the visage of Krylak, the Scourge's fearsome leader. His reptilian features twisted into a predatory grin. "Captain Blackwood," Krylak hissed, his voice a low rumble. "Surrender now and I might spare some of your crew. Resist and I will tear your ship apart." Ethan met his gaze unflinchingly. "We don't negotiate with pirates." Krylak's grin widened, revealing rows of sharp teeth, then prepared to be boarded. The transmission cut off and alarms blared as the Scourge ships closed in, preparing to launch boarding pods. Ethan's mind raced. They were running out of options. "All hands, brace for boarding action. Prepare to repel invaders." The ship's corridors became a battleground, echoing with the clash of metal and the shouts of combatants. Ethan led the defense, his tactical genius and unyielding spirit driving his crew to hold the line. Amidst the chaos, he found himself fighting alongside Alara, their movements in sync as they repelled the Scourge forces. "Captain," Alara shouted over the din, "there's a way to disable their ships. A feedback loop in their power core. I can guide you." Ethan nodded, his trust in her solidifying. "Do it?" As Alara worked to upload the virus into the Scourge's systems, Ethan and his crew held their ground, pushing back the invaders with sheer determination and grit. The air was thick with tension, every second a battle for survival. Finally, Alara's voice rang out. "It's done." Ethan's command was swift. "Fall back to the bridge. We're getting out of here." The Voyager surged forward, engines roaring as it blasted through the Scourge's line. The enemy ships convulsed, systems shorting out as Alara's virus took hold. One by one, they fell silent, drifting powerless in the void. "Engage hyperdrive," Ethan ordered. The stars stretched into lines of light as the Voyager leapt into hyperspace, leaving the remnants of the battle behind. On the bridge, the crew let out a collective breath of relief. Ethan turned to Alara, gratitude and admiration in his eyes. "We couldn't have done it without you." Alara's smile was soft but resolute. "We're in this together, Captain." As the Voyager sailed through the endless expanse of space, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, united by their shared struggle and newfound bonds. The journey ahead was uncertain, but with Alara by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges awaited. Chapter 4: Bonds of Trust. The aftershocks of the battle were still evident in the occasional flicker of the screens and the subdued murmurs of the crew. He ran a hand through his short, dark hair, his thoughts drifting to the enigmatic alien woman they had rescued from Zephyria. Alara, her name echoed in his mind, bringing with it a wave of conflicting emotions. She was unlike anyone he had ever encountered. Her ice-blue skin seemed to shimmer under the ship's artificial lighting, and her eyes, a deep, oceanic blue, held a mixture of vulnerability and strength. Ethan found himself drawn to her, but he knew that trust had to be earned, not given freely. Down in the medbay, Alara sat on the edge of a sterile bed, her slender fingers tracing the patterns on the floor. The crew had been kind to her, but she could sense their wariness. She understood it. After all, she was a stranger in their world, a potential threat in the midst of their close-knit family. The soft whoosh of the door opening broke her reverie, and she looked up to see Ethan entering the room. "How are you feeling?" he asked, his voice gentle but carrying the weight of unspoken questions. "I am adapting," Alara replied, her voice melodic yet tinged with an accent that hinted at her alien origins. "Your crew has been very kind." Ethan nodded, pulling up a chair to sit beside her. "They're good people, but they're also cautious. We've faced too many threats to be otherwise." Alara met his gaze, her eyes searching his for any sign of distrust. "I understand. Trust is not easily given, especially in times like these." For a moment, silence enveloped them, the only sound the distant hum of the ship's engines. Ethan took a deep breath, deciding to take a leap of faith. "Alara, I want to trust you, but I need to know more about you. Where you come from, why you're on that outpost. Anything that can help me understand." Alara's expression softened, and she nodded slowly. "Very well. I come from a planet called Illyria, a world hidden deep within the nebulae. My people are peaceful explorers, seeking knowledge and understanding of the universe. I was on Zephyria as part of a mission to study its unique ecosystem, but something went wrong. My team was attacked by the Stellar Scourge. I was the only one who survived." Ethan listened intently, his mind racing with the implications of her words. "And why didn't you call for it?" "We did," Alara said, her voice trembling slightly. "But our technology is different. Our distress signals must have been too weak or too foreign for your systems to detect. I thought I would perish there until your ship arrived." Ethan felt a pang of sympathy for her. "You've been through a lot, but we're here now and we'll do everything we can to keep you safe." Alara smiled, a small but genuine expression of gratitude. "Thank you, Ethan. I will do my best to prove my worth to your crew." As the days passed, Alara began to integrate more into the daily life aboard the Voyager. She shared her knowledge of alien ecosystems with the science team, her insights proving invaluable. Slowly, the crew's initial wariness began to fade, replaced by a growing respect for her abilities and resilience. One evening, as the ship drifted through the inky blackness of space, Ethan found himself in the observation deck, staring out at the endless expanse of stars. The door slid open and Alara stepped inside, her presence a soothing contrast. "Mind if I join you?" she asked softly. Ethan gestured to the seat beside him. "Please." We sat in companionable silence for a while, the stars twinkling like distant memories. Finally, Alara spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. You humans are remarkable. Despite your fears and mistrust, you've shown me kindness and acceptance. Ethan turned to her, his expression thoughtful. We're not so different, you and I. We both want to protect those we care about. We both want to find a place where we belong. Laura reached out, her hand brushing against his. Maybe we can find that place together. Ethan's heart skipped a beat at her touch, a warmth spreading through him that he hadn't felt in a long time. Maybe we can? As they sat there, side by side watching the stars, a bond began to form between them, built on shared experiences and a growing trust. It was a fragile thing, like a newly sprouted plant, but with care and time, it could grow into something strong and enduring. For the first time in a long while, Ethan felt a spark of hope. Hope that, even in the vast, cold expanse of space, they could find warmth and connection. And maybe, just maybe, they could build a future together, one star at a time.